We have been dreading this video for months, but we are finally going to do it. So today we are going to go over all the books on our physical TBR. We have done this video once in the past, and I remember thinking back then that we had an absurd amount of books we haven't read yet. Fast forward to this year, we have double the amount that we had last time. We are starting off today at Amanda's house. We're going to go over all of her books, and then we'll go over to my house and I will do all of mine. We have a long video ahead of us, so we're just going to kind of go through these quickly. So if you've ever seen a shopping video of ours and you thought to yourself, I wonder how many books they have at their home that are unread, today we're gonna find out.
Today we're gonna expose ourselves. It's already been quite the journey getting all of these books right here in front of us. We tried to organize them by genre, so for the most part they are organized. We do have a little miscellaneous stack over there on the side, but let's just go ahead and get started. So up first we are going to be doing my lovely book of the month stack over here. First up we have these two. We actually just got them in our last thrifting video. It is the Book of Cold Cases and the Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. I also have Evil Eye by Etop Rum. I think this cover is gorgeous, so I had to get that. All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. I have two books from Kate Alice Marshall, No One Can Know and What Lies in the Woods. Lauren really loves these mystery thrillers, so I think we're pretty picky on mystery thrillers, so I'm hoping I'm gonna love these as well. I actually hold this one from Half Price Books, but this is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I also have Age of Vice by Depti Kapoor. I think this one I've just been really intimidated by the size, but I've heard that it is a very great story. Girls just want to have books. This is the new one that I just got. It is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. You guys know how much we love Adrienne Young. I also have The Woman by Kristen Hanna. Y'all know how much I love Kristen Hanna. And then I have Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. I was supposed to read this one in February, but I didn't get to it. I still really want to read it though. Then I have A History of Wild Places by Shia Earnshaw. This one drives me crazy because it doesn't have the Book of the Month sign on the spine, so I don't like displaying it with my other Book of the Month books, but she's also a Book of the Month book. So yeah, my order for Book of the Month also arrives today with more books, so you can clearly see I have a problem, but it's okay. So I have two large stacks of romance books. Up first we have Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. I've really liked all the Tessa Bailey books that I've read, so I need to read this one. I also have Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley. This is a gorgeous cover. I have While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. Cold Tea by Mariana Zapata. I've noticed I haven't absolutely loved the Mariana Zapata books that I've read, so I've really just been holding this one off, but hopefully it's the one that I love. I have the next books in the Twisted series that I do want to get to eventually. If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. I was surprised to see that so many of you guys loved this one. I can't wait to read it. The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I've read the other two books in this series, and this is the first book, but it's okay because you don't have to read them in any order, but I'm glad I still have this one to read. I also have the Spanish Love Deception, which is insane. Neon Gods by Katie Robert. We actually found this one in a Little Free Library, so that's exciting. The Witches of Moonshine Manor by Bianca Moraz. We just got this one from thrifting, and we also got The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. The next stack we have The Newcomer by Mary Kate Andrew. This one sounds really good. I don't know why we haven't read it yet. We also have Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. We actually went to the book signing for this. Ooh, look how cute. I have to read this one this summer. But next we have some Aardvark books. We have A Love Interest by Claire Gilmore. A Spinster Guide to Danger and Dukes by Amanda Collins. Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. This Bird Has Flown by Susanna Hoff. Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Lord by Celeste Connolly. The Fake Meat by Alana Ferguson. And then we have Love Scenes by Bridget Morsi. And then for some seasonal reads, we have 8 Perfect Hours by Leah Lewis. This is a very Christmassy book. I also have Christmas by the Book by Anne Marie Ryan. So cute. Christmas Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. Christmas Bliss by Mary Kate Andrews. So this is Christmas by Tracy Andreen. And then I have a beach one, Beach House Summer by Sarah Morgan. Y'all know I have a collection of Ellen Hilderbrand books, so I have Golden Girl by Ellen Hilderbrand, The Perfect Couple, Endless Summer, and 28 Summers. I have to read some of these this summer or it's gonna be really embarrassing. Next we have some fantasy reads. I have The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I do have the first one in my TBR cart. We have The Night and Its Moon by Piper CJ. We just got this one after our thrifting trip. Also this one, The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Morin. The Night Circus, The Starling House by Alex E. Haro, and Book of Night by Holly Black. This was another one we went to her book signing for. Next we have our mystery stack stack. We have Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste NG. I started the show on Hulu, but I never finished it, so it'll be fun to read it and then watch the show. Something in the Water by Catherine Stedman. I'm always scared to read this one because I feel like I'll never want to go to the beach after. We have The Family Across the Street by Nicole Trope, When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark, The Plot by Jean Hoff Horowitz, A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. Got it for $2. The Push by Ashley Audrin, The Club by Ellery Lloyd, Not a Happy Family by Shari LaPena, The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. I love Riley Sager. And then Greenwich Park by Katherine Faulkner. Next we have the YA stack, starting with Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. We watched this movie a long time ago, so I think it'd be fun to read the book and then watch the movie again. I also have Cinder by Marissa Meyer, Other Words for Smoke by Sarah Maria Griffin. We also have The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I also have some Neil Shusterman books, so I have 3 in the Unwind series and then 2 in the Everlast series. I know he actually signed some of these. We also have All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody, Asylum by Madeline Rowe, We Speak in Storms by Natalie Lund. I got this a long time ago from BookOutlet. Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. I can't wait to read this one in the summer. You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau, The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill, and then of course The Gleanings by Neil Shusterman. Next is my historical fiction stack. So I do have The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. There was actually a woman at the library telling me that I need to read this, so I can't wait to read it. The Book Thief by Marcus Sousa. Crazy that we haven't read that yet. The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. Hannah's War by Jan Ellisberg. Lovely War by Julie Berry. The Christie Affair by Nina de Gramont. And then I have 2 books by Kristen Hanna. I have The Four Winds and Winter Garden. And our last stack here is a little miscellaneous stack. So we have 9 Perfect Strangers by Leanne Morardi. I am reading Apples Never Fall this month. We also have Before We Say Goodbye by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I love that name. Normal People by Sally Rooney. The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. A lot of these are ones we just got from our last thrifting video. Jeanette McCurdy's memoir. Outlawed by Anna North. Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. The Giver by Louis Lowry. Life of Pi by Yan Martel. This movie was fantastic. Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. A Man Called Ove by Frederick Beckman. The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafik. Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Kias. The Martian by Andy Weir. Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kira Maniscalco. And then Educated by Tara Westover. So that is all of the books that are here in front of us. This does not include the 2024 physical TBR card that I also have, but I don't want to go too much into detail about those since we did just do a full video on that. I don't want to sit here and bore you. I do also have the Throne of Glass series on my shelf and Silver Flames. If I'm being honest, there's probably some more scattered around the house, but we did total this and it came out to about $114, not including my TBR card though, so it's not too bad.
That's honestly, I feel like not too bad compared to the amount that I have.
I think this was good to sit down and do this for me because I actually came across a lot of books that I'm ready to unhaul. There was just so many where I'm like, I know I'm not going to read this, so let's just put it to a side. So we have a bunch of those books put to the side. We'll do a whole video on that later, but for now, this is my physical TBR. My room is an absolute mess now, so I'm looking forward to doing our bookshelf reorganization soon. But that is pretty much it for me. So we are going to head out and go to Lauren's and see what kind of damage we're working with over there.
It's a new day. We're at my house now. Last year when we did this video, I had 108 unread books. Fast forward to this year, I have 253 books that I own and have not read. That is ridiculous. I went ahead and dedicated 2 whole shelves for my physical TBR. So that's what we're going to be going through today. Up first, we have my Carissa Broadbent books. I have yet to start reading this author, but I think I'm going to love her. So I bought all of her books. We have Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, the War of the Lost Heart series. So volume 1 is Daughter of No Worlds. I love this cover. Children of Falling Gods, Mother of Death and Dawn, and book 2 in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, The Ashes and the Star-Crossed King. Under that, I have a fantasy shelf, so I have the first 2 books in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas, and books 2 and 3 in the Green Bone saga. Up next, I have the entire collection of the Ruthless Boys of Zodiac, the spin-off series to Zodiac Academy. So we have Dark Fae, Savage Fae, Vicious Fae. This is a whole lot. That's a whole lot. I almost prefer the animal on the back.
That's okay, just in your room, you know? know.
Yeah. Broken Fae. I don't know who this is yet, but I love him. And Warrior Fae. This might be the biggest book that I own. And the last two fantasy books I have on there is The Will of the Many and A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, which I believe is a prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree. Moving down to our next fantasy shelf. I have the last two books I need to read in the Zodiac Academy series before book 9 comes out. The Dance of Thieves Duet by Mary E. Pearson. I know that there's a series you have to read before this, so that's why I've waited so long. I have the Imperium trilogy, Furyborn, Kingsbane, and Lightbringer. I need to read this year if possible. I have the next two books in the Poppy War trilogy, the last two books in the An Ember in the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir, Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, another cover that I'm obsessed with, and Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I feel like I would read Ninth House before I read this one, but I got the collector's edition at that Barnes & Noble half-price book sale.
Let's see it. Oh man.
It is cute.
What a beauty.
Speaking of books I keep putting off, The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. It's because you didn't love this one, so I don't know how I'm gonna feel.
That was just me. Maybe you'll love it.
Yeah. I also have two Harry Potter books that I need to read. I've enjoyed this series so far. I started reading it last year. I really like it, but I am trying to thrift all of my copies, so that's why it's taking me a while. I have Gilded by Marissa Meyer. This is like the Rumpelstiltskin retelling. I have Morningstar by Pierce Brown, another book in the Red Rising series that I'm starting this month. More Leigh Bardugo. I have Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. A couple more Marissa Meyer books. I have Heartless and Cinder. I have some Stephanie Garber books. I have The Ballad of Never After. And the last two books that I've yet to read in the Carball series. I don't know that I will be reading these. Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. I've had this for years. I have Master of Iron by Trisha Levenseller. This is book 2 after Blade of Secrets. We have The Only Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix. I actually don't know what genre this is, but I was gifted this for my birthday. I have Defy the Night by Bridget Kimmer. Legendborn, of course, an OG book that we both own, haven't read yet, by Tracy Dion. And Vespertin, I don't even think this is a fantasy. I'm not sure. It looks more like a gothic type of book, but they're gonna go on the same shelf. I have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I have another Trisha Levenseller, Warrior of the Wild, Children of Blood and Bone, and Warrior Girl Unearthed. I thought I owned Firekeeper's Daughter, but I don't think I do.
Oh.
Because I haven't found it. That's pretty much it for the fantasy shelf. The bottom two are YA hardcovers, so we're gonna go over those at the very end. But now we're gonna move on to this shelf. I got some romances up here. I first have the Boys of Tommen series here. I have two different editions, the new released ones with Bloom and the old like black object covers. So these are pretty heavy. They're gonna stay right here though because you can see them. Next to that though, I have Daisy Hates and the Great Undoing. I have the next to three books I need to read in the Dark Verse series by Runex. This is my favorite dark romance series, so I don't know why it's taken me so long to read these. But I have The Emperor, the Finisher, and the Annihilator. And then I have books 3 and 4 in the Dark Side series by Christy Cunning. I'm loving this series so far, so I need to finish it before I forget what happened in books 1 and 2. I have the rest of the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas, so we have Kill Switch, the two novellas, Fire Knight and Conclave, and then the final book, Nightfall. She's a thick one. I also have the rest of the Twisted series, Twisted Lies, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Games. I have my 3 Rena Kent books. These are the first couple books in this Royal Elite series that I'm really excited to start. I have the Madison Kate novella Vault that I need to read after I finish the Hades series. And then some random others. I have Priest by Sierra Simone, Damaged Like Us by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This is like the spin-off series to the Addicted Calloway Sister series following the kids. And then I have Pretty Reckless by LJ Shen. This will be my first LJ Shen book.
Oh.
The next shelf down is one of my favorites. It has like kind of the literary fiction, contemporary fiction that I've been collecting, as well as memoirs. So up first I have Being Lolita by Allison Wood, Down the Rabbit Hole by Holly Madison, Fashion Killer. This is the one that was sent to us by the author and I'm obsessed with the cover. Educated by Tara Westover, and then my literary fiction starts. So I have Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. We have Homesick for Another World by Otessa Moshfegh. This is one of the books from Book of the Month that I wish they still had in stock because I would love this hardcover. I have Pew by Catherine Lacey, The Book Eaters by Sunny Dean. I have this book of short stories I need to finish, Someone Who Will Love You in All Your Damage Glory by Raphael Bob Westberg. This is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone, and Claire and the Sun, another one I've been waiting to read for a long time. Last little pile, I have Severance by Ling Ma. I was supposed to read this in January and I didn't get around to it, but I am going to read it this year. What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. We both have this book. Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. All's Well by Mona Wad. And one I'm really excited for, Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado, because I read her memoir and I absolutely loved it. Next stack, I have The Woman in the Purple Skirt. I also have The Secret History by Donna Tartt. that I've had for years. I have Let Us Believe in the Cold Season. This is a poetry book. And now I have a bunch of like classic books that I was supposed to read in high school. I probably did, but I don't remember. So I'm gonna reread all of these. So I have To Kill a Mockingbird, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. This isn't even really a classic, but in my head, it's in that genre. Narnia. The Picture of Dorian Gray. Mythology by Edith Hamilton. I remember being assigned this and I had such a hard time in high school, but now that I like mythology, I would love to reread this. Of Mice and Men. I didn't realize how tiny this was.
Oh, yeah.
I have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, of course. The Glass Castle, which I don't know if it's considered a classic or more of a modern classic, but I've heard it's really good. The Little Prince, which is a classic in my eyes. I have The Great Gatsby. The Stranger by Albert Camus. The Scarlet Letter. And Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is the Paper Mills edition. Next, I have my Book of the Month books. We have a huge stack. I have Babel by R.F. Kuang. I don't know if it's Babel or Babel. Babel is giving more of dark academia, but this is a thick one I'm intimidated to read. I also have The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I recently got An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green, which I'm really excited for. The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Bells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I love The Unmaking of June Farrow, so I can't wait to read this since it's her other adult book. I have Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torts. The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. Another one I'm gonna try to reread because I will tell you I did not like this whenever I tried to read it.
That's wild. Isn't he the silent patient?
And I liked The Silent Patient. One of my most recent Book of the Month books, Dolly Alderton's Good Material. And I have Kingdom of Sweets that I need to read because this is like the Nutcracker reimagining. And I love the Nutcracker. My next stack is kind of like mystery thrillers and it gets into horror Stephen King. But I have The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. Another one I want to try to read again. I have The Last House Guest by Megan Miranda. When You See Me by Lisa Gardner, my first Lisa Gardner book. Camp Zero by Michelle Min Sterling. I don't think this is a thriller, but I think it's more like a sci-fi dystopian type of read. We'll see. What Waits in the Woods by Terry Parlato. This was one of the Aardvark books. And another one was Where You End by Abbott Collar, which I'm really excited for. This cover, I love. Some Stephen King books I have. Needful Things, which I started. The Shining by Stephen King. Misery, which I think is a lot more digestible, size-wise. I don't know about story-wise. And another Aardvark book, Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. Up here at the top, you can't really see, is Book of Night by Holly Black, The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black, and Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I just really love this edition. Now we're gonna move the camera down so we can show you all of the YA hardcover books that are at the very bottom, and then I have another little stack here, which I think it'll just be easier if I show you them and I can just point to them and tell you what they are. Down here starts my hardcover YA books. From the top, I have Letters to the Lost, These Fleeting Shadows, The Taking of Jake Livingston, The Last Hope by Kristen Becca Ritchie, which I can't wait to read because it's going to be a sci-fi read from them. The Queen's Assassin, Gods and Monsters, which is book 3 in the Serpent and Dove series. I then have The Siren, the first 2 books in the Gideon the Ninth series. Foxglove, which is the sequel to Belladonna. Oh, I do own Serpent and Dove! Oh. Oh my god, I had no idea. Serpent and Dove, Beasts of Prey, and then that one we just got on our recent thrift video, The Scarlet Veil. Up at the top here, I have a Jennifer L. Armentrout book. This is Grace and Glory, and it came with really cute dust jackets. I need to get the rest of the series so I can read it. I then have All of Us Villains, Radio Silence, The Midnight Library, The Last Time We Say Goodbye, Eleanor and Park, which I've heard really good things about, All My Rage by Sabbath Tahir, Dear Evan Hansen, Blackout, The Phone Booth at the Edge of the World, Hope and Other Punchlines, and The Chaos of Standing Still. And then at the bottom here, I have The Evolution of Mara Dyer, Strange Creatures, House of Hollow, In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune, The Sky Above Us, Our Crooked Hearts, Some Shall Break, which is the sequel to None Shall Sleep, Confessions About Colton, The Letting Go, and Nemesis. Wait! I've read Nemesis. What are you doing down here? She might have to stay because she's holding up everything else, but I've definitely read that book. Under here, I have Stepsister, and then I have a bunch of Neil Shusterman books that I need to read. These up here are the Unwind series. I have the other 2 books in the Skinjacker trilogy, Challenger Deep, Game Changer, Roxy. I then have the Graveyard book by Neil Gaiman, the Divergent trilogy, which someone needs to force me in the comments to read, The Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Roberts. Here is Lee Bardugo's Ninth House that I want to reread this year, The Bear and the Nightingale that I claim I'm going to read every year and it doesn't happen. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, The Wicked Deep, Other Words for Smoke, The Burning Sky, This Savage Song and Aardvark Duet by V.E. Schwab, The Night Circus, and the first 2 books by Piper CJ in this series. I have a couple books in the Seven Realms series that I want to start, Strange a Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares, The Kiss of Deception, which is the series I've heard you have to read before Dance of Thieves, Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and then some Cassandra Clare books, and then The Invisible Library, The Beautiful, and The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein. I now have this long stack stack of books I haven't read. I'm gonna quickly go over them as well. Up at the top, I have Tate James Club 22. That's like book 4 in the Hades series. I have The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Beautiful Oblivion by Jamie Maguire. This is another copy of The Woman in the Purple Skirt. I have the box set of the Mortal Instruments. I did read the first 3, but I still need to read the last 3. I have Stephen King's Green Mile, Ready Player One, Barbarian's Touch, which I think is book 7 in the series, The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy, If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan, Becoming Colder by Mia Sheridan, Better Than the Movies, Already Falling, 8 Perfect Hours, Authority by Jeff Vandermeer, In the Company of Witches, The Thursday Murder Club, Gone Girl, The Twisted Ones, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, I Know You Remember, Perchance to Dream, which just looked like a vintage book. I love the cover. I can't show it to you now. I have some YA books, How She Died, How I Lived, and They Wish They Were Us. I have a Lisa Jewell book, The Night She Disappeared. 3 Natalie D. Richards books, Gone Too Far, 6 Months Later, and What You Hide. Those just seem like really fast-paced mystery thrillers. I have Wilder Girls, White Elephant, An Abundance of Catherines, Kids of Appetite, It's Kind of a Funny Story, Mun Mun by Jessie Andrews, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews, The Uglies, The Witches of Moonshine Manor, The Art of Starving, Again, Looking for Alaska, Genuine Fraud, and Heaven Looks a Lot Like the Mall. I also have this shelf, which contains all of the books I said I want to read in 2024, as well as whatever monthly TBR I have. So here I have Sunkissed that I want to read in the summer, If We Were Villains, Dowry of Blood, A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, Plain Bed Heroines, Bound by Honor, Still Beating, and the first book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. And these are my February TBR books. We did a whole video going over those. But that's pretty much it. All 253 books on my physical TBR. I am embarrassed. Don't worry. I am aware that I have a problem, but at least now that I have everything in one corner, anytime that I need to pick a monthly TBR, I can come over here and figure out what I'm going to read from there.
I'm glad we did this just so we can really see what we need to prioritize. It was about time that we did an updated physical TBR, so I'm so glad we finally did it. Next, we're going to be doing a bookshelf reorganization. It is also time for us to sit down and do that, so I'm very excited for that as well. That's pretty much it for today, though. Let us know how many books you have on your physical TBR.
Reminder to join our book club if you haven't already. That link is in the description, and it's free to join. This month we're reading Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia for Fairies. Also, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We will see you guys next time. Bridget Kemmerer. I have Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. That's what we have here. We have Daisy Hates. Okay,
there's no way this is that small.
Dude, right?
I remember like refusing to read that in school.
And I remember I like came home and I was complaining about it, and it was like we had the test the next day and my dad was like, you can't read a book in one day. This is crazy. You won't finish that. This is 2 hours max.
We suck.
That's crazy.
I love your fire extinguisher.
That's in case there's a fire. We need to save the books.